one of those two, because based on what we've seen so far,
it doesn't look like many people are rising to that challenge. If you did have to pick one team as these initial bans do come through to potentially challenge those two teams, to potentially wiggle their way into a grand final, who do you think it would be?
EG.
EG?
But on what we've seen so far, just which of those three teams
doesn't look like many people are rising to that challenge. If you did have to pick one team as these initial bans do come through
than I would have been before the
to potentially challenge those two teams, maybe potentially wiggle their way into a grand final, who do you think it would be?
EG.
EG?
But on what we've seen so far, just let's talk about the bans.
Which of those three teams like many people are rising to that challenge. If you one team as these initial bans do come through
than I would have been before the
to potentially challenge those two teams.
And Team Liquid has just had enough of that Kunkka.
Oh yeah, so we see TNC kind of adjusting already what happened in game number 1. Undying is gone, Keeper of the Light. I was surprised that they did not ban Coddle in the first game.
Lich, Tusk, Earth Spirit, Centaur, all of these, and Io, all of these big heroes left in the pool. And when you talk about, again, GH, with 100 or more games, there is no player in Pro Dota 2 history that has a higher win percentage. This hero, one of the bigger reasons why. GH, Io, sick.
Grimstroke Lich, that's a good counter for a Liquid, because Io loves to be paired up with someone, of course, and Chain Frost already looking good, plus Grimstroke ulti.
Haven't seen many IOs get through, and every time I have seen it, it's paired with a gyro. So what is it about this duo that just is so strong and makes it a staple for when IO does get through?
I mean, this is the most popular combo in Dota right now. I don't think it needs that many explanations. We've seen it so many times. It gives them a free Aghanim Scepter on level 15. They farm quickly. You just need a hero to start a fight with, relocate, then suddenly you have 3+ heroes. And
48 now appearances in this patch. I think it's 45 with Wisp and 6 without, so 51.
Maybe they should target a hero like a Centaur. That's a great answer, finding an IO. Great against Gyro as well, and there's already a Grimstroke on side of TNC.
And I think the other thing when you talk about Centaur is the Lich Grimstroke pairing is very powerful, but it's also very squishy. And you need a hero that can build those aura, those tankability items. There's the Centaur right there, and also just protect those back lines. Stampede, a powerful disengagement tool for them as well.
Medusa's still in the pool if they want to go for it. Maybe
that feels very greedy.
It is. It is. But since they banned out Anti-Mage, it just
19 record in 7.20 professional Dota. He's 4-10 so far at this event.
Yeah, so many times sitting down on the desk, whether we're on camera or we're talking about the matches while they're on, we're on break. AM has been a big talking point between everyone, talking about what scenarios he actually looks good, because there have been quite a few drafts where people are going, AM's the perfect pick, AM's the perfect pick. Then we see the game, and it doesn't look like that's the case at all. AM, definitely one of those heroes that's left a question mark on the CQ Major book.
It's hard to have a well-rounded draft around AM. It's vulnerable in mid. It's really vulnerable in the mid game, but maybe they're discussing this for quite some time. OD could be a good pick as well if they want to grab it. But
wow!
All right,
only the second appearance at the CQ Major for the Spirit Breaker.
Aceless Void. You know what heroes in the pool still? Elder Titan. No one picked it yet, but they need a mid hero on side of TNC. Faceless Void with Lich.
Both teams presumably need a mid.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see some memes. Give me those memes. Spirit Breaker and
Darkseer,
yeah, baby.
Bulldozer, baby. I mean, and it's honestly, it's whatever you have to do to create chaos around the map to allow that IO Gyro to farm up unharassed. And that's, I see some of the same weaknesses in the TNC draft right now that we worried about with very similar lineup from eHome last night, that while you have that potential huge Chronosphere to fight around,
OD.
Do you have pickoff potential?
They should get rid of
absolutely
OD.
Get rid of OD here.
Since Spugna is banned out, one of the worst matchups for OD.
I think if you get rid of OD, Armel still plays very, very good SF. That's another ranged hero that can get in that and pump damage into that Chronosphere.
I think from Team Liquid Stroke, again, once you get on top of them, they have no escape, especially if you silence them. But, all right, so OD is getting banned out.
Yep.
They could grab a puck. I would like to see some puck. So is that's a core tide?
Wow, is that a mid tide hunter potentially, or do you run the IO gyro mid? Yeah, the core that's tremendously powerful. This core tide. When you look at the builds that we've been seeing from this hero, he's going armor reduction early on. He's going very heavy into that armor reduction, synergizing with the gush, and that makes the team of TNC. If he gets a Deso or something like that, gets in and Desos multiple people, all of a sudden that flat cannon of gyros just shreds.
Yeah, but these the heroes on side of TNC, Liquid, Grimstroke, Lich, they're just really low armor.
Right.
I don't think that this looks really rough for TNC.
I don't know. This mid tide seems to me like something that could look amazing or really look underwhelming.
They have Darkseer, which is gonna build those team fighting items, so Tide can actually go for damage. They're gonna need definitely a pipe this game. Crimson Guard always feels good to have.
My question for you guys: you talk about this Team Liquid lineup. First, let's take a look at TNC.
Okay. Should talk about Tinker. Yeah.
Let's talk about this Tinker Nas.
It's going to feel really good in terms of the mid matchup, but it's also in this game, I think it's going to feel a little on the slow side. It's a very good deep push. It's a tempo controller, but I think it very well may end up like a dual mid lane. And Tinker Lich against IO Gyro, I'm not sure how great I feel about that.
Now, out of curiosity, referring to the Liquid lineup as somewhat of a meme factory, how difficult is it to actually execute that, Lacoste?
I think it's pretty easy to execute. Yeah. Maybe the problem will be communication, because Shadow is playing the gyro and you're always paired up with the IO, so you need to know what you're doing. Maybe a lot of pings is going to do the trick.
Yeah, we've talked about that in the past, right? We've talked about that in the past, that they've needed to really try to work around the fact that Shadow's communication skills are not as great, but they're going for a very interesting lineup, and we're going to have to see, are they going to be able to close it out in a 2-0? We're ready to get this started. Liquid against TNC.
Yeah, good question. Can they actually close it out? Right now, there's a lot to think about. We have a hero that we have not seen yet. I don't think he's been played the entire tournament. In fact, I don't think I've cast this guy since 7.20. The Spirit Breaker pickup. Of course, Kuro gives us something different.
I like the draft from TNC, not even because of the heroes necessarily, but of how they've changed their play style. They had major issues with the way Liquid was able to push out lanes. Now you have a Tinker. You don't really have that problem anymore. In addition, you've simplified the game. Suddenly your stand-in Rior is no longer playing a Timbersaw who's got to make tons of decisions. Where am I farming? How aggressive am I playing? How do I itemize? When am I trying to win this game with my team? He's playing a Centaur with a Grimstroke.
Yeah.
You just get in there, and now Armel is the person that you're empowering to actually win the game for you, not desperately run around the map as your only stun.
So you talk about like the Tinker being empowered, but he's also up against one of the oldest counters against him, Spirit Breaker. You charge, you've always got that vision on him. So how is he meant to play around this? Is this just going to mean like you'll have to build up nice and early? Or
I think he'll go for the Yules. You never know for sure. Bear in mind that it's really only in the early game that you're susceptible to this, and it's going to take... You have a lot of counter initiation, right? A Lich can teleport in, Grimstroke can TP in. It's not ideal, but he'll have Stampede to peel as well. And Liquid, this is a much more difficult game for you. You can't 4-1 anymore. Shadow is playing Gyrocopter, so